What's up, my party people, man? Midday Madness in the mix with your host with the most from the East Coast, bringing you the energy that you never felt on this good old Cinco de Mayo. Friday, Cinco de Mayo. Underlay, underlay, underlay. Get your tacos and tequilas out, man. Midday Madness in the mix, man, with your boy Big Wavez on Life Is Just a Wave podcast, man. Bring you Panther content, sport content, and soon gaming content as well, man. We about to turn it the fuck up, man. What's up with everybody out there? Shout out to all my surfers, man, all of the people all the way across the world. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody out there, man. You know, get your drink on, get you some tequilas, get you a motherfucking taco. Y'all already know how it go, baby. Midday Madness in the mix, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, a lot of stuff to cover on today. Talking about these Carolina Panthers, man, as we are moving into the next phase of this offseason. We already know, man, that the Carolina Panthers have drafted their quarterback of the future. They have put together one of the most talented coaching staffs that you can, with the names of Jim Caldwell, names of Dom Capers, names of Ejiro, names of who else we got on here? Deuce Staley, names of D'Angelo Hall, names of who else we got on this roster? Josh McCown, quarterback coach, man. The names go on and on and on. That was the first phase of it. Is can this ownership put together a talented staff? And that's exactly what they was able to do. They got a head coach in Frank Wright. Some people were skeptical about that, man, as the offseason started. Was he the guy for the job? Was he going to be the person to be able to take the Carolina Panthers post-Matt Rule era? So far, so good. It looks like the decisions that they made. Let's talk about Scott Fitterer and the job that he's done this offseason on getting this football team to play. Getting this football team to a level that we'll be able to compete with, I think, anybody in the NFL once this season starts, man. Trading up all the way to the number one pick, bringing in these free agents, Hayden Hurst, Miles Sanders, all of these guys that he brought in, man, to make this team a competitive team this year. They knew that the NFC South was a weak division, and they had to come in, man, and make some splash moves to take it. So what did he do? He went to go get an Adam Thielen. He went to go get a DJ Shark, a Hayden Hurst. On the defense, went to go get a Von Bell and a couple quality starting D tackles and defensive ends. Great job by Scott Fitterer. And then getting to the draft, you draft your quarterback of the future. You also draft your potential number one wide receiver of the future. And you also draft some other needs on the team that we need. But with all of that being said, with everything that we have done all the way up until this point, for some reason, your boy Big Wavez doesn't feel like we are where we need to be. We still have a long way to go far as getting ready for the season and where this roster stands today. On the last live, you guys seen it. We went over the roster. We took a look at the depth that was on this team, and depth is still an issue to me. I still think that we have some holes on this team that needs to be filled, and I'm going to be interested to seeing if these holes can be filled, man, as we go through the next couple of weeks into this next phase in the offseason. Look, it's already May, guys. That means that training camps will be starting up soon. That means that, rookie mini camps is about to be up underway. Position battles about to get going. We're literally just a couple months away of seeing this brand of the Carolina Panthers football. And what if everything that we put together, man, was worth it? We are not that far away from it, guys. We're talking about 3 months away from seeing the first version of this Carolina Panthers era, this version of the Carolina Panthers regime, and if all of the moves that we made this offseason can equal into wins. But again, this roster is not complete. It's not complete. So we're going to get into it today, man. As always, we're going to make sure that we have the panel pull up to the channel today. Midday Madness in the mix, man. It is May the 5th. Cinco fucking de Mayo, man. Shout out to all my Hispanics out there, man. The whole Hispanic culture. It's time to get fucking lit and time to get turned up. Your boy might take a shot on stream too, man, for Cinco de Mayo. I might give me some tequila or something, man, to get me a quick shot in or something like that, because I'm feeling good today, man. I'm really feeling great today. I'm feeling awesome today. And, the thing about it is, guys, is that y'all should feel the same way too, man. Listen, these Carolina Panthers, bro, in this offseason, man, it's been something like your boy has never fucking seen. I've never seen the Panthers like this offseason. Never seen it. But I'm proud of it. But it is far from complete, and I'm going to tell you why it's far from complete. There's a couple positions that I got to talk about that we got to get addressed. And y'all already know how I feel about this, right? So, I'm going to pick a little bit at some of the moves that the Carolina Panthers have made or should have made or they didn't make. Because, again, the team is solid. We definitely going to be competing this year for the playoffs. Playoffs in year one for Carolina, hands down, is going to be a playoff year for Carolina in year one. I stand on that. I believe that it's going to be that. I know that we're going to be competing for a playoff spot in year one. Probably going to win the NFC South. I don't really see any other team that's going to be able to stack up against this defense. And once this offense gets chemistry, Bryce Young settles in to the quarterback leader role. These wide receivers, man, play up to the level that they can play up. And obviously this offensive line, if everything starts to come together, there's no reason why I would not think that the Carolina Panthers can be a playoff team here in year one, right, under this new regime. So when I'm taking a look at where we're at and where we're going, there's still some things on this roster that has me feeling uneasy, right? And the number one thing that has me feeling uneasy here is this cornerback room. Like, the more and more that I talk about it, the more and more that I look at it, it is arguably the weakest room that we have on this team. This room is weak. This cornerback room is not where it needs to be, and that has me worried. You guys got to think about something. We have some good wide receivers in the NFC South. Obviously, if Michael Thomas can get back to where he was, they got an emerging Chris Olave. Tampa Bay, they won't have anybody throwing the ball to be worried about, but they still have Mike Evans. We see how Mike Evans tore us apart in that potential game that would have got us into the playoffs. We just cannot afford that, right? And then all of a sudden, the Falcons are becoming a threat as well. So when you take a look at that cornerback room, there's a bunch of question marks there that I don't feel comfortable with going into the season. If you ask me, Carolina needs to add about 1 to 2 more pieces in that cornerback room. CJ Henderson, if y'all didn't know, the Carolina Panthers already did not pick up his 5th-year option, so he's not going to be a part of the Panthers' plans going forward. I can't say that I didn't call that. CJ Henderson is a bum. That's all I'm going to say. He's a fucking bum. And then Dante Jackson, even when healthy, is a bum. I'm going to go ahead and say it. He's a bum even when he's healthy. J.C. Horn, to me, is the only proven cornerback that we have on the roster. But the thing about it is that there's no guarantees that he's going to stay healthy, man. The hope and the prayer is that he will. Obviously, we know what kind of talent he is, man, when he can be on the field. But the thing about it is that we just don't know. And the only reason why we just don't know is because we haven't seen it yet. That's not me doubting him. That's not me knocking his talent. That's not me saying that he's not a capable corner. He's not a number one corner. But we all know that your biggest ability is availability here in the NFL. And if you cannot be available in the NFL, then guess what? You're only as good as your last movie, right? So with that being said, there are tons of question marks in that secondary. The safeties, I have no concerns about whatsoever. The nickel position, I think Jamie Robinson will come in and win the nickel position. Our rookie that we drafted out of Florida State. Know that he's a safety, but he also played a ton of nickel in college. So I think that he will lock down that role. But the question marks, man, with how inconsistent and injury prone that our starting 2 corners have been, you would think that Scott Fitterer would have done more to put more depth there at that position just in case. And I know that we're still in the offseason. There's still a ton of time to go ahead and get these guys add some pieces in. Marcus Peters' name is still out there. Rocky Sin, just to name a couple people that are still out there. Veteran Ronald Darby is still out there. There are a lot of other names that the Carolina Panthers could do, but I do not feel comfortable with what we have as of today there in that locker room. And it's simply just because there's no guarantee that the 2 starters are going to give us a full 16 games. And that's exactly what I'm concerned about, right? So that position has me a little bit worried there, okay? Also, the next position, depth at offensive line, guys, depth at offensive line. The depth behind the starters, we all know that Austin Corbett is not going to be ready for the season. It was already Frank Wright has already came out and said that Austin Corbett is probably not going to be ready for the start of the season. Don't have a potential ATA on when he's going to return, when he's going to be ready to go. So we're not sure if that's going to be the first 2 or 3 games, the first 3 or 4 games. But think about this, though. Right now, behind Ikwame Kwanu and Taylor Moton, we have no backups at tackle whatsoever. The tackles that we have behind them are guys that you never even heard of, right? Guys that you've never even heard of when we're talking about depth on the offensive line. It's a bunch of unproven people behind the starters. And we know, guys, that in the NFL, when injuries happen to the offensive line, they can ruin your season, right? We finished with a top 5 offensive line last season, but there is no depth. Yes, we drafted guard Savala from North Carolina State. He played with Ikwame Kwanu at State, and maybe they have some chemistry and things like that. He's probably going to have to lock down and start right away at that guard position if Corbett is going to be out a couple of games. So now you're talking about the interior of that line is not as strong as it was to start the season. So when the schedule comes out, and we're going to do an official schedule preview, once the schedule releases there later this month, we're going to do a schedule game for game prediction of every single game once it releases on a week-to-week basis on how we should go, if we should win it, so on and so forth. So I can't wait for that to drop. I think the schedules are scheduled to release here within the next 2 weeks. So we're going to be talking about that. But this offensive line is not going to be at 100% to start the season. So when we're talking about depth behind them, honestly, there's not a ton of depth behind the starters on the offensive line. And that has me a little bit shaken as well. You see a team like the Kansas City Chiefs who have ton of depth on the offensive line to keep Patrick Mahomes guarded, keep him upright so that he's ready to go. But the Panthers, that is one thing that needs to be addressed before the start of the season. I know that we have a bunch of undrafted free agents and guys that are position battles, but I think that we need to bring some pieces in, especially at backup tackle, because somebody that can play either right or left tackle, because, guys, we got names of people that's backing Moton and Ikwanu up that I've never even fucking heard in my life. So that room has me a little bit concerned as well, okay? So number 1 is corner that I have. Offensive line depth is the next thing that has me concerned that it's not complete yet. We still got to bring some pieces in on that offensive line for rotation, and then on top of that, in case one of these guys go down, those will be my 2 concerns. Now, the next room that has me a little bit worried just a little bit. And again, I know we addressed this position in the draft, but at the same time, I'm still not a believer on it. And that's the defensive end position opposite of Brian Burns. Defensive end opposite of Brian Burns. Yes, we did bring in DJ Johnson. DJ Johnson is a freak of nature when you're talking about physical mechanics and what he is. We all know that he's a 6'4" guy, can run a 4.40, 200, sub 4.5 40, 260 pounds. That is a fucking animal, right? That is something that you just don't see. He has rare size and speed combination coming off that edge, but he's still a raw talent. Is he going to be ready to go day one? That's yet to be seen if he's going to be ready to go day one. I personally think Scott Fitterer should be on the line. There is a lot of good edge rushers right now available for free agency. Right now, we are in the phase of the offseason, what I would like to call the Dollar Tree part of the offseason, right? And this is the Dollar Tree part of the offseason where you can go in and get quality items for low prices. There are still a lot of free agents, man, that we covered and we talked about that are available out there for the Panthers to see, especially at defensive ends. Some of the names, Yannick Ngakoue, Jadeveon Clowney, just to name a couple, are still available out there. I still think that the Panthers should go in to get one of those guys, man, to solidify that line, because what I'm telling you, the Panthers are going to make a push this year. I'm not saying that we're going to be Super Bowl bound, right? So nobody get it mistaken, because I'm not saying that we are going to the Super Bowl. Will not say that we're going to be a Super Bowl team this year. But what I will say is that we will make the playoffs in our first year. I have no doubt in my mind that we will make the playoffs the first year. And then when we get in the playoffs, it is yet to be seen on what can we do. But the first step is to get into the postseason. We got Big Bro in the building. Big Bro, what's good with it, man?
What's going on? What's going on, Panther Nation, on this lovely Friday?
Cinco
Um,
de Mayo.
yeah, Cinco de Mayo for those that celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hey, man, you know, we're past the draft. Now time for these rookie mini camps coming up here within the next week or two, I believe, to see what we got with everything that we've done, with the undrafted free agent rookies that we signed, man. It's time to get this thing on the road. And as you did mention, if well, I'm gonna say this before I say that, those that if any of those that caught Scott Fritter's interview last week on the Cal Bailey show, or even when he was on the Mac Attack show, um, he did say that we're still in the market for a cornerback free agent and DN. So it is possible that we're going to bring some of those guys in, the names that you just mentioned. Like I said, Clowney's out there. I think, him coming back home to end his career, on a 1 year deal, we can get him for the right price. That'll be a good pickup. So it's now just filling the pieces, man. So we're not done yet, guys. This roster is still a long way from being, finalized before, the 53, um, before the season starts. So just keep that in mind, Pat. We're not done, even though the draft's over, but we still got work to do. Okay. And I like what we got so far, and we're going to add some more pieces. But
Yeah. Just to give you a name, man, the top 100 free available, especially at edge. Let's start with that room first, man, because I want to break down these rooms one by one, man, because we're talking today about this roster being under construction, right? So it's not a complete project yet, right? So there's still a lot of holes that need to be fed. But when we're talking about free agent available edges, Leonard Ford, Floyd, an edge play for the Los Angeles Rams. Good, solid, quality veteran man that we could bring in on a cheap deal, only 30 years old. Jadeveon Clowney, obviously only 30 years old. Frank Clark from the Kansas City Super Bowl champion, Frank Clark, is still available, only 30 years old on the edge. And again, Yannick Ngakwe, only 28 years old, edge that's still available out there. So you're talking about four quality starting defensive ends that are out there on the market that the Carolina Panthers could potentially bring in. We got CLT in the building. CLT, let's start with this edge room, man. Like, again, what moves that we need to make? Who would be a great fit to bring here into Carolina? And where are we right now as a roster?
I would say we approaching possibly 80% complete. We just have a few adjustments that we need to make, like you said, depth, and also I would get a potential starter at defensive end. Also get a potential slot corner starter. Um, I think I've seen some reports that Jadeveon Clowney has been linked to us. I don't know how much depth that holds, but I think that would be a great signing. I've seen a lot of reports actually that landing spots for him. We've been linked to him, so I like that. Um, like we stated before, I would be a fan of Shaquille Griffin coming in. I think he would command a lot of money. Hopefully, if we can get him on a steal, hopefully your Dollar Tree analogy is correct at this time for him. But Scott has to be looking for depth. He knows that as a GM, you know that depth is warranted deep into the season. It's 18 games, 16, excuse me, 17 games, physical plus playoffs if we make it, which we are hoping to make the playoffs this year with the roster that we've built. So Scott has to know that he has to get some depth out there.
Yeah, go ahead, big bro. What's your thoughts about that?
I agree. Like I said, you know, Scott knows this. He stated, a few times last week. I agree. This roster is not done. It's nowhere near to being done. What we're going to have for the season. We got through the draft. We got through free agency, but as CLT says, still some holes that we need to fill. Um, if we can get, the remaining guys out there that like a Clowney or Ian or one of those ends that you just named, Frank Clark. if we can get those guys, bring them in on the right price, definitely I think Scott will do that, man. I mean, he's to me, he's knocked it out the park so far this season, this off season. So I think he's going to continue to do that. Again, as these players start to come back, off their vacation, and get back into the building, he's going to look at what we have on paper and also see, okay, now we getting these guys just on the field work, and the coaches can see what they do and evaluate them. So again, when we get started, after these guys get back and we start doing their evaluations, he's gonna say, okay, well, we're still short at D end. We still need a good nickel corner or a third cornerback, and fill those holes, man. So just keep that in mind, President. Like I say, this roster is not done. It's going to look different by the time the season starts in September. It's I mean, we know, majority of the starter spots, that's written in already. But what I'm saying is you're going to see some more movement from us, right? The Panthers are not done. We're not done making these moves. Again, we weren't going to be able to answer everything in the draft. We all knew that coming into it. So, it's still the building process, right? And so I'm happy, man, because now we have a GM that he's shown us that he's going to be aggressive and be in on every deal. So meaning the calls are still being made for a Clowney, for a Frank Clark, and those guys that you name, man, and say, all right, what can we get done possibly? If it works out for both sides, then we're gonna pull the trigger. I think Fritter, he's proven that, man, so far. So,
I agree. I agree with what you're saying, man. But when I'm talking about depth, though, man, I'm sitting up here looking at our depth chart, and I don't know if y'all got it pulled up here or take a look at it. But man, we really ain't got depth nowhere. Like literally, like I'm sitting here, like I'm looking at, like these are the current backup corners, like right now. Like this is as of today, behind Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn. We got C.J. Henderson, Stanley Thomas Oliver III, Keith Taylor, and somebody I never even heard of called Herb fucking Miller, man. Like that and Sam Franklin Jr., we just brought him back, on a cheap deal. Then obviously, we drafted Jamie Robinson. He probably go get plays at the nickel.
And,
but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, ain't got Rajon Wright, man, undrafted free agent.
He got to make the team first, though, man. I can't.
But listen, though, man.
Come on, man. Stop talking about those undrafted free agents. They got to make the team.
What you got to understand, because the guys that you name, you never heard them, but those fourth, fifth, and sixth corners, you're not going to know their names, man, because they're not the big names that you're used to. Like you can't, no team has, 4 or 5 big name corners on their right because they can't pay them all, right? It's impossible to do with the salary cap. So
well,
I mean, those
big
guys,
names.
huh?
I ain't saying that we got to have big names, man. I'm just talking about quality depth. Like,
well,
if you
go ahead.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, okay, all right. If you're the GM, I'm putting you. Let's play GM right now. CLT, you play GM. Big Bro, you play GM right now, right? You and the Panthers, you're the GM. So you Scott Fitter, right? So this is what I'm saying. You know that your 2 starting corners have shown in the last 2 seasons that they can't stay healthy, right? Like this is just from a business aspect. So if you want to talk business, this is a business aspect. If you know your 2 starting corners cannot stay healthy, how in the hell could you go through free agency, through the draft, without addressing any of that? And then on top of that, you saw that when J.C. Horn was just missing in the game against Tampa Bay, we got fucking destroyed, man, in the secondary. Like we literally, again, the Tampa Bay game is what I'm always going to go back to. That game right there showed you how thin that we are in the secondary. So the fact that we ain't made no move or we ain't tried to do nothing to at least, man, I'm not saying that you got to go get a big name, but at least have some guy that can come in. If you know that J.C. Horn is down, right? Which at this point we got to believe that it's probably going to happen at some point. Just, you don't wish it, you don't hope that it happens, but you got to have somebody that is quality enough that can come in there and start if one of these guys go down. And currently on the roster, we don't have anybody that's quality that can come in there and start, either for Dante Jackson or for J.C. Horn. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I'm finna deal my guys and tell them they need their ass on their field this year for big waves, man.
Man, listen, CLT.
I mean, CLT for real, bro.
Here's the thing. This is how Fitterer, since you put your GM hat on. So this is how Fitterer is thinking. Yes, we know the injury. The injury bug has bitten those two guys. Like everybody knows that. That's common sense. So what he's saying is this. Okay, we haven't. I mean, we've addressed the cornerback room. Meaning we drafted some young guys. We drafted the young guy and signed some undrafted free agents, right? So meaning we're not expecting, that, because I get what you're saying, but if we was like a year away from the Super Bowl, then yeah, I can kind of see where you're going with that. But that's not the case. So what he's trying to do is build his roster for the future, right? So meaning Jackson and Horn, this is basically their prove it year. Right, it's basically, okay, is they gonna remain healthy? Are they gonna be able to contribute to this team? And also on top of that, give some of these young guys some reps for we can see what we got, man, that's behind them. Because the long-term goal is this, man, is to be consistently winning and competing at a high level, right?
I agree.
So I would have to disagree that we haven't made moves. I think we've done a good job addressing it. Yeah, we haven't went out and drafted signed a free agent corner, but he said in his interview last week that they're still looking. Like, again, I'm not looking at the list of who's out there, but they're still looking and making calls, man, to try to address that. Again, they know what it is, so you just got to give them a chance, man. Again, just because we got past the initial free agency and the draft doesn't mean that we're going to stop making moves. We got 3 months until the season starts. May, June, July, August, season be here in September. So we're not done. That's what you got to understand, man.
I understand that. Like, I get what you're saying. I know we're not done, right? But what I'm saying is, man, like, and again, I don't want this to overshadow the job that I feel like Scott Fitterer has done, CLT, this offseason, because I think Scott has done an amazing job. The whole Carolina Panthers organization have done an amazing job, right? But what I'm saying, man, is that's a position, man, that got to be addressed, man, like before training camp kicks up. Because, and just to give you some names of some guys that are out there, Shaquille Griffin from Seattle is only 28 years old. Marcus Peters, obviously from Baltimore, only 30 years old. Ronald Darby, 29 years old, name is still out there available. When you're talking about corners,
now,
other
all
names
those guys that you're naming, man, are starters, man. Like,
but what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. It's okay to have. You're supposed to have 3 starting corners.
What I'm saying.
You're supposed to have 3 starting corners, capable corners.
Those two, like Peters, Shaquille Griffin, and who else you said? I forgot the other guy you said.
Rocky Sin.
Those are 1 and 2. They're not 3s, man. They're not, and their money wise they're not gonna ask for 3 corner, the third cornerback money, right? You see what I'm saying? Because they play at high level. Peters is definitely a number 1 corner, which he gonna.
Let me go through the rest of some more names at corner. Byron Jones from Miami, still only 30 years old. He's out there available.
He hurt. He can't even run, man.
Yeah, Casey Hayward is still out there. He's a little bit on the older side. Obviously, he's 33 years old. Other names out there: Artie Burns, 28 years old, still out there. Anthony Brown from Dallas. Bryce Callahan name is still out there. Eli Apple, which to me, that is a very intriguing option because he was supposed to play for Carolina before. Has been on the Bengals, been a starter out there for the Bengals the past couple of years. I think you can get him and have him be the number 3 corner. Eli Apple name was a good name out there. Fabian Maru, his name is out there. Terrence Mitchell name is still out there available. Logan Ryan, there's some quality guys out there that the Panthers can get. I'm just saying, man, like, we don't have anybody in that room right now, let's just say God forbid, if JC Horn went down right now, or he got to miss the next 2 or 3 games, who you gonna put in there, man? Keith Taylor?
No, man. Who's gonna be is gonna be C.J. Henderson. Currently is third on the depth chart behind those two guys.
What has C.J. Henderson showed you?
Hey, check this out though, Wavez.
Go ahead.
Other than 3 of those names that you named, which was Shaquille Griffin, Marcus Peter, and Rocky Sin, all I was about to say Marcus Peter. The other than those 3 names, bro, C.J. Henderson has played at the caliber of the remainder of those corners, bro. None of those corners that you have named.
Oh hell no, man! You tripping, CLT?
I'm telling you.
Now I get what he's saying. You're right.
None of those 3, other than those 3, the remaining corners are not errorless free, bro.
Right.
All them corners have been fucked this year, bro. Eli Apple got exposed in the playoffs this year, bro.
Now I feel what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but what I mean is that we just need a caliber starting guy to come in, man. Like, and then I'm just saying that it's not that I'm saying, man, that like, listen, your number 3 corner doesn't need to give you number 1 and 2 production. He just need to be able to come in case one of those guys come down and the game not get away from him. Play physical, make sure that he making the right. And C.J. Henderson hasn't showed that, bro.
I mean, he hasn't, but we can't, just like we used to talk about with Bryce, we can't talk about if he get injured. I mean, that's the case with anything. Like those 2 guys, we're not going into the season thinking that these 2 guys are going to get.
Unlike Bryce, they've shown consistent injury history.
Right,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm with you with that. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is this. This is why this is the year for those guys, especially Horn, because he's coming up and wanting to get. Because basically the Panthers have shown that, hey, we're not just going to pick up your 5th-year option if you're not producing.
That's right.
So, we just did it with CJ. So Horn, he has to come out this year and prove that, hey, man, I'm really that guy, and I can stay healthy, for majority of this season or the whole season, whatever it may be. So they gotta show that, man. Him and Dante Jackson both, because
Rocky Sin not even available no more, man. He signed with the Ravens.
Okay. But I agree with CLT though. The rest of those guys after Peters and Griffin, I mean, it's the reason why they're free agents, because they're not locked down corners. Eli Apple, he's always had problems since he's been in the league. He was a top pick even with the Giants. He struggled. He struggled every team he's been on. So
he didn't struggle with the Bengals, bro. Go look at Eli Apple's numbers, man, with the Bengals. He's been a starting corner.
Football Focus right now.
Yeah, he's been a starting corner over the last 2-3 years, and they've been in the Super Bowl, man, and they've been into back-to-back AFC championships. Like, yeah, he got exposed on some plays. But if that's the case, I mean, if we going off of that, he definitely didn't see.
But we can agree that was off the strength of Joe Burrow, bro. Joe Burrow led them into the playoffs, not the defense.
Nah, they defense, man, the Bengals defense don't get enough credit, bro. They defense have been solid. They defense shut the Bills down in the playoffs. One of the most high-power offenses in the league. So they shut the Bills offense down.
Here's his numbers for last year.
Yeah.
22. 41 solo tackles, tied for 50th per cornerbacks. Interception 0. He had 72 targets on them against them, tied for 34th in the league. Receptions allowed 41, tied for 43rd in the league. His overall grade last year was 52.9. Man, he didn't have a good season. I mean,
no, I didn't say that he had a great season. I'm just saying he's a capable starter. He's a solid starter. That's what he is. I'm not, bro. The number 3 guy's not supposed to give you number one corner production.
Listen to this, Wavez. He was drafted number 10 with the Giants. He should be a number 1 starting guy.
So we could say the same thing for C.J. Henderson. C.J. Henderson got drafted in the first round.
But what I'm saying is this, because
we already have him on the roster.
Your point is that you want us to go out and sign this guy to be a quality starter, which, I mean, to say that he's a quality starter, he's at average at best.
That's all a number 3 should be.
Big bro, can you pull up C.J. Henderson numbers? Compare that
Yeah.
to Eli Apple real quick.
Yep. Give me
Oh
a
yeah,
second.
please pull this up because Henderson is a bum.
Give me a second. C.J. Henderson. C.J. Henderson PFF. And this is from, okay, here we go. C.J. Henderson. All right, here we go. C.J. Henderson. 2022 season stats. 52 solo tackles. Tied for 29th, so he had more tackles than him. Interceptions, 2. Tied for 23rd. He had more interceptions than Eli Apple. Targets, 74. Tied for 29th. Receptions allowed, 51. Tied for 16. So his overall grade, 52.9. So him and Eli
Same
Apple is
thing.
the same.
Yeah, that's the
So
same.
CLT was right. He said that C.J. Henderson is the same as Eli. So we already got the guy that you're talking about.
Go look at Eli Apple number from the year before last. I want to see what his 2021 numbers was.
And CJ had 2 more takeaways, so I'm gonna take
Right.
CJ.
The two takeaways, man. The ball came right to C.J. Henderson, man.
I don't give a damn. You gotta be in position.
Yeah, those were ducks. He just picked off ducks,
Yeah.
man. Ducks that was thrown in the air.
You gotta be in position.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 2021. He's for Eli Apple. He had 40 solo tackles, so he's not really a tackler. He had 2 interceptions. Targets was 66. Now his receptions allowed did go down because he went to 39. So top 59. Now his overall grade was better in 2021. It was a 60.9. So yes, he was better the year before, but hell, we can't. I mean, we can go back and find, he's a solid cornerback, but I'm with CLT on this.
That's the year he called out your boy Tyreek and paid for that shit.
Yeah. But I went CLT.
That was dumb. I'm never calling out Tyreek Hill on shit.
Like, he's no better compared to last year than C.J. Henderson. He's no better. Eli Apple's not when it comes to numbers. So
let's look at Marcus Peters. Where was Marcus Peters? Well, I know he was hurt last year.
We agreed that Marcus Peters and Shaquille Griffin is going to outdo,
right. Yeah,
outdo C.J. Henderson. We just said the caliber of money they're going to want is
right
for number 3.
Exactly. Not to come in and play number 3 corner. Those are starters.
If we can afford them, I wouldn't mind moving D-Jack to number 3.
Right.
If we can get him on a good deal.
To me, D-Jack is more of a nickel anyway, man. I don't consider Dante Jackson, man, an outside starting corner. I really don't, man. And the reason why is because he relies too much on his speed. He think that, man, he has the speed that way he can just, make up for it. But against elite route running, man, he gets cooked every time. Like he gets fried. Like he get fried every time, man. That's what bothers me about Dante. And look at the money we paid him.
Well,
we paid him big money.
That's because he got a 3-year, $35 million deal, and we just paid that last year. So it's like with him, he got to start because we paying. We invested heavily in him. So he that's too much money for a damn number 3 corner. So for him to move, like he got to basically start, is what I'm saying. Like, just due to the money, unfortunately, until we can get him off the books and get the guarantee paid. But so those guys, man, that Peters and Shaquille, like I said, they're gonna demand, number 1 corner money.
I don't think so. I don't think they go demand number 1 corner money, man, because this point in the offseason, the money is always going to be determined on what your market is. That's what the money is going to be determined on, is what your market is and what the market is out there for them. And if these guys are number 1, like you say, number 1 caliber talent guys, which I don't see neither one of them being a number 1 corner at this point in their careers, and where the market is, they're still available post the draft. I don't see these guys wanting number 1 corner money. The most kind of money that I see that these guys getting is in the range of $7 to $8 million a year. Like that's really all I see them getting. They're not finna get no 12 or 13 million a season. Nobody's going to give them that. Nobody's going to give them that, man. And because if that was the case, they would have been signed. It's the cornerback market, man, really hasn't been that great this free agency. So when you're looking at what these guys and what they're willing to demand and what they accept, that's 2 different things. What these guys should be getting is $7 to $8 million a year, which to me that's solid money for a 30-year-old corner who's coming off an injury, like Marcus Peters is coming off of injury, or and then Shaquille Griffin, who really his play has diminished really over the last year or two that he was down there in Seattle or where he was at last. So again, man, it's based off of your market. You get paid off what your market is. And at this point in the offseason, you can't demand number one corner money, man. These guys are just trying to make a roster. 7 to 8 million the most that these guys is getting, 1 year deal just to have it. Because, man, what I'm saying is we're not competing for a Super Bowl this year, fellas. I'm not saying that. We're not going to compete for a Super Bowl this year, but we're definitely competing for the playoffs this year. The playoffs is very much realistic for the Panthers this in year one of this regime. So
you know what I think,
playoff push.
I think Shaquille has at least been offered somewhere. He probably doesn't want to take a 1 year deal. He probably wanted at least a minimum of a 2 year. I think the system that he was in San Francisco, in Seattle didn't work for him. Because there's no way he's supposed to get cut in the middle of his contract. He was too good in Jacksonville. I think what he wants has to be a little bit different than what's being asked out there. But he can definitely get this 7 to 8 million somewhere. I think he would have been offered 7 to 8 million for a 1 year deal somewhere.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, so again, if like what nobody's going to pay them that max amount of money, man, because again, the quarterback market is just, and a lot of teams that needed a quarterback, man, they drafted them, this past draft. A lot of corners went in the draft, man. So the cornerback market for these guys left on the, veteran free agents, listen, man, you got to take what you can get at this point in the offseason. So somebody like Shaquille or Marcus Peters, they're going to accept, man, 8 million probably max. Like literally that's the max that these guys are getting because nobody's asking these guys to come in here to like start. These guys are really just coming in here, man, to be like compete probably for that number 2 position with Dante Jackson or arguably be the number 3 corner, man, because to me, you got to have at least 3 good corners on your roster. And with the luck that we've had at corner, I'm just saying, man, it's no guarantee. Hell, with the luck we've had at corner, we really don't even have one.
It just doesn't. I don't know what's going on with free agency because there's a lot of free agents that's still out there that can be starters elsewhere.
I agree.
That's not on teams like you got Zeke out there still out there. You got Leonard Fournette out there, bro. A lot of teams. A lot of teams, bro. For what they have,
I can't believe Frank Clark is still out there, man.
See, you got to understand too how it works, fellas. Is that if you don't hear about these guys signing, that doesn't mean the teams haven't contacted them about coming.
No, I know. Yeah, so, I got you.
So meaning that a lot of these guys, like you said about the market dictates that, again, they may have reached out to these guys, Fournette and some of the other guys that you named, CLT, to say, hey, you want to come play here? But, hey, well, I want 10 million. Well, we only willing to offer you 3 million. So that's why you see some of these guys not signed. Now, as we get closer to training camp, some of those guys, you may start hearing more about them being signed because, you got injuries that happen and teams trying to fill and they don't like what they have on the roster. So that's when they go and call those guys back and say, hey, we still got an offer for, 3-4 million. I know you wanted 10, but here's where we at. Do you want to make this money or not? So that's when you start seeing those guys get signed, man. So that's why you seeing it ain't nothing that changed with free agents. This happens every year, man. It's just, again, like we talked about with Lamar Jackson, you got players that think they value, which they have the right. They valued at a certain number, right? Especially the vet guys like a Fournette and the Peters. And teams are only willing to pay them, a max amount of dollars due to, the salary cap and whatever the market is saying at that time. So, I mean, again, that's why I think we can get some of those guys that you naming for a real good deal. Like, as we get closer to training camp, like, okay, Clowney, hey, man, you might have wanted 5 million, but we can get you on this 1 year deal for 2 type deal. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, shout out to Real Panther Talk with A&D. Hey, Real Panther Talk with A&D, man. Hit me up on Twitter, man. I want to do a collaboration with you guys, man. Hit me up on Twitter, bro. At Wavez Podcast. At Wavez Podcast on Twitter. Trying to do a collaboration from the channel, man. Looking for another Panther channel to collab with. Hit me up, bro. But he said those guys online that you read on our O-line depth, they are nobodies. You just don't know who they are. They're good backup players and depth for the O-line. I got to see it. Definitely got to see it, man. And again, man, I'm not looking at this from a names perspective, man. I'm looking at, we all know how unfortunate, man, like the NFL is when we're talking about injuries coming, right? Yeah, definitely hit me up. Hit me up, man. I want to collab. I definitely want to collab, man. We can get together and do a live or something, man. Look, it's crazy, man. It's crazy because it's just super unfortunate, man. When an injury happens to one of your star guys, I just look at these teams like the Bills and the Chiefs, and these teams that have been competing year in and year out. When an injury happens to one of their starting guys, they have the depth, man. Like look what the Chiefs just did. They signed all of these these offensive linemen early this offseason, spent big money on the offensive line, and then they still go and get a guy yesterday in Donovan Smith, man, who's a starting left tackle for the Buccaneers, who started for them last year. They already got 2 starting left tackles already on the roster, right? But they go get another starting caliber tackle in Donovan Smith to add depth, because they know that if you can't protect your quarterback, you're not going to have any success. And with the injuries, the way the injuries played teams like it's played us, our 2 offensive guards are hurt right now as of today. One of them is not going to be ready for the start of the season, right? But they went to go make a move for a guy that can be a starter on every other team, but's probably going to be a backup on this line. Donovan Smith has been starting for the Bucs the whole Tom Brady era, and they went to go pick him up yesterday, man, and he's going to be a backup on that team. It's called, what I'm telling you, man, it's called preparation, just in case, because you need to have a talented guy that you're not falling off so much that there's not a big drop off between the 1 and 2 if one of your starting tackles get hurt. And when you look at, like, come on, bro, we got a guy named Ricky Lee, somebody I've never fucking heard of in my life. Don't know where he came from. Don't know how he even got on the team. Don't know nothing about him. Got to see him play, see what he can do. But he's backing up Taylor Moton and Iquanu right now. Like, that's what I'm saying. I can't say that if this guy comes into the game that I can feel comfortable with him being the starter in case one of these guys go down. Listen, we're not making a Super Bowl push this year, but we definitely making a playoff push this season. Like, we're going to be in the playoffs this season. We are. I got a Falcons fan in the back who talking shit, but we're going to be in the playoffs. We're definitely better than they are.
Listen, we're going to be. Listen, we got a barring injury, like, because again, it all matters how the season goes, but barring no injury, no major injury issues that we have, and yes,
Happy
we will.
Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
We will make the playoffs. I strongly believe that. So that's why I'm saying I'm not too concerned about the room, man, right now, because we got some guys again. Horn and Jackson should come back healthy, man. They should come back healthy again. We got CJ Henderson. Yes, he's not a shutdown or elite corner. He's maybe a little below average. Maybe, I mean, he's a solid third. Number 3. I wouldn't start him, obviously, but he can come in and do something. But what I'm saying is that also we got some young guys too that's gonna make the team. And again, man, if it's a deal that needs to be done or can be done with,
you saying Fitterer go get it done?
He's gonna get it done, man. I think he's still making calls, like he said. He literally said that in his interview, because everybody's been saying the same thing that you saying. Hey, how you feel about the cornerback room? And he said, I like what we have, but we still can make some moves there. I'm still fielding calls. He talked about that specifically, cornerback and DN. Last week on 2 different radio shows that I heard. So meaning, man, he gonna make the calls, and as we get closer to the training camp, as I mentioned, these guys that still ain't signed, they're gonna be willing to take less, man. A lot of them are really, ready to get paid something than nothing. They may come off their number, right? So their agent's gonna be like, all right, well, I know you offered this, he declined it, but now he wants he willing to take this. So I think we're gonna hear some more signings that's gonna come from the Panthers camp over the next two months, man, before we get to the camp.
CLT, what's your thoughts, bro?
Well, it has to be some more time. That's the only common sense. We would think that we want to hurry to get it done soon because they're only going to do nothing but fly off the board. And we want to get a guy that we feel like is valuable, not just scraps. You don't want to wait till you're in season week 6 when there's nobody remaining or people that already got cut. So a reason for them getting cut is they suck. So definitely want to be able to try to snag Shaquille, snag Jadavion, snag Frank Clark, and Guakwe. Somebody valuable now while we have the cap space to do so and availability.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, man. Hey, look, it's gonna be interesting, man, to see how we go forward, man, with this, man. But shout out to everybody, man. We in the midday madness mix, man, with your boy Big Waves in the fucking building. CLT Big Bro here, man, on this good old Friday, Cinco de Mayo. Got my drink right here, man. We getting started early in the day. Y'all already know what time it is. Shout out to everybody, man, that's in the chat, all of the surfers, man. Listen, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you like and subscribe to it. Listen, boy, I got some exciting stuff, man, that's going to be coming up here, man, in the coming months. The Discord, guys, I have a date that the Discord is going to be released May 18th. The 18th of May, the Discord will be leaked, man, and we're going to make sure that we add all of the surfers in that Discord because it's going to be lit on there, man. Discord will be out on the 18th of May. Y'all make sure to tune in, man, for that because when I drop that link, y'all better go crazy in that Discord, man. It's already the 18th of May. So that's coming on the way, man. And also some other exciting stuff coming to the channel as well. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Life is just a wave podcast. Hey, so let's get into this other news, man, that just came out here per Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated said that Panthers general manager Scott Fitterer said that the team will take it easy with Bryce Young, and the coaching staff will decide when he's ready to take over as the starter. So does this mean that Bryce Young is not going to be starting right away? Will we see the Red Rocket get the start of the season? What are you fellas' thoughts on that? Supermova salute, my friend.
I think, man, I think what he's basically saying is, they just gonna see how it goes, man. Through these mini camps, OTAs, training camp. Depends on what type of progression Bryce is showing. Is going to determine, is he's a sharp. Basically, they're not going to rush him, so meaning they're going to let him develop at his pace, because again, there's a lot that he got to learn, coming into an NFL offense. So, they're just going to take it slow. So, can Andy Dalton start a couple games this season if Bryce not ready by the time the season start? Absolutely, and I'm okay with that, man. I feel like we don't have to throw him in the fire right away. Andy Dalton started 2-3 games. I'm gonna take it as even maybe 4 games, maybe at the most. And that's the absolutely most. Uh, and then Bryce can come in just for him to watch and learn. So again, this is all depends on how what Bryce is gonna be able to do once he get in the building and how fast we can get him up to weight. How he reading defense. I mean, a lot's gonna be determined over the next couple months. But if he gets to training camp and has a phenomenal training camp, man, then he's gonna be the starter. If he come out and the coaches feel like he's ready to go day one, then he will be the guy that's come out there on day one. But if not, Andy Dalton will give us a couple games and then Bryce will come in. So I'm okay either way.
All right, CLT.
Sorry that, fellas. I was responding to work emails. What was the topic? Sorry about that.
Yeah, so we're talking about, man, a report that came out where Scott Fitterer said that the team will take it easy with Bryce Young and the coaching staff will decide when he's ready to start. So will we see Andy Dalton get the start of the season? And how do you feel about that?
Me personally, okay. That's hard. And this is why. So with the draft collateral that we traded, that says day one starter, right? And the first overall pick that says day one starter. But if that's not the case, that's just not the case. You don't want to rush him out there, lose confidence, derail a young career, right? Also, we have the dilemma of Matt Corral, who we drafted last year, being on the roster, right? We want to build up some kind of rapport so that we can have some kind of draft. We can have some kind of trade collateral for him, right? But you don't want to put him in and he underperform and we begin to lose because now we're blowing away playoff hopes, right?
Right. I
So
agree.
so it's just a 50-50. But we do want to try to recover something for Matt Corral. So it's like hopefully he can perform the OTAs, look good, look confident enough to throw him out there so we can get something back for him. Andy Dalton, if he can get us some wins, you start him. You just don't know. Honestly, I feel like that's something that the coaching staff got to come up with.
Yeah, we heard the reports out there, and you guys may not have heard it, man. Matt Corral's dad made a very subliminal tweet the other day about his son, man, in the situation, saying that, why stay, or I think it was, I might be quoting this wrong, but he said something about, not why stay in a place where you're not wanted. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I could see Matt Corral being traded. I think that what the Panthers are going to do, he's going to obviously get some starts, man, in the preseason. They're going to allow him to, get some film on tape and, get some tape out there in the preseason. I think the Panthers are going to try to trade Matt Corral. I just don't see him, man, being the third quarterback on this team, for right now. I think, with him being the third round pick, last year he had some second round, value at least. I don't see him, man, sitting here when he knows that this is going to be Bryce Young's show. He either going to demand a trade or the Panthers are just going to grant him that opportunity. What y'all fellas think?
So here's my thoughts on that, man. What we all got to understand. Matt Corral, unless he comes in the training camp and has a phenomenal camp and beat out Andy Dalton, which again I don't think is going to happen. Corral is solid, but he ain't gonna beat out not Andy Dalton for the number 2 this year. Again, we know Bryce is gonna be the starter. Andy Dalton ain't gonna start the whole season.
Right.
Bryce will be the starter at some point if he don't start the first game. But also people got to remember Andy Dalton's only on a 1-year deal, man. So meaning Corral is still under a rookie contract. So we got to develop a backup quarterback. You got to have a backup quarterback in the NFL because you just never know. So meaning Corral, he gonna get his chance to compete. But again, he's not better than Bryce Young. At nowhere doubt about it. But so at best, it's best that he stay put. Because he's under contract anyway, and learn from Andy. And ultimately, man, as far as his time with the Panthers until his rookie deal is up, just be the backup for Bryce, man. He can develop into a real good backup and put some tape out there because and a team may want to trade for him a year or two from now if he has a good solid backup and some good numbers in preseason. We've seen that happen with a lot of New England quarterbacks. They got Diaz Garoppolo and Matt Flynn. They were backup guys. So, it's nothing wrong with being the number 2 guy. And then when you do get an opportunity, shining and potentially going to be a starter somewhere. We had Derek Anderson, man, one of the greatest backups ever that we've had, who was solid, man. I love DA.
I did too, man. Derek Anderson was probably one of the best backup quarterbacks I ever seen.
Yeah, man. So but you need a guy like that on your team. So Corral, I know he's upset, man, because he felt like he didn't get a true shot and we drafted number 1, but he also got to understand the business of it too. Like, hey, man, yeah, we drafted you in the 3rd round, but we got a 1st round guy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it doesn't compare apple to apple. So like you're not nowhere near Bryce Young's talent. Nowhere. That's just. Go ahead, CLT.
Not to cut you off, but I was just going to say, man, you see where backups can go. Like Taylor Heineke, man, he came from us.
Yeah, that's facts. That's a hell of a point, CLT.
Went to Washington and ball out.
And that's but that's my thing about it too, man. Is that did Corral get a fair shot? And again, like,
did you as a fan give him a fair shot?
Hell no, I ain't even gonna count, bro. I
Well,
ain't
he
even
didn't.
gonna
He didn't
lie.
listen.
I'm
He
not even
so
gonna lie.
he
I did
got
not.
again. He got hurt in the preseason, right?
Yeah, he did.
It's unfortunate,
A
but
bad injury, by the way, too.
it was. We're not taking that from them. But here's the thing, though. In the NFL, like if you're not a number one guy, like you weren't drafted, you know, in top, 15, top 20. I'm gonna say hell, even the first round. It's always the next man up, right? You can be replaced and you may not get another opportunity because it's just unfortunate. It happens like that. Like number one guys, they get several opportunities. If you drafted top 10, they might get a couple of years, even if they got in 2 or 3 years until they fizzle out. But him getting drafted third round, he got injured in preseason, which again, it was no fault to his. It's just unfortunate. I mean, that it happened that way. And now we drafted the number one guy, and we got to go with the number one guy. Like you know, it's not a knock on him. So I wouldn't say he got a fair shot. I mean, it was just a bad situation, but it could ultimately be a good situation for him because he can be the true number two man over the next years to come and potentially win a Super Bowl here, man. So it may not be as bad as it people looking at it, or he's looking at it right now.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying, man, really like far as a fair shot, like you got to remember, man, the Panthers traded back into the third round to get Matt Corral. And the reason why I said it wasn't fair for him, man, because he got a bad injury last year. I think if it wasn't for that injury last season, I think that Matt Corral would have definitely got some looks to start a couple of games with as bad as Baker Mayfield was playing. And while Sam Darnold was out, I think Matt Corral would have got some opportunities and some looks under Steve Wilkes last year if he
Absolutely.
wasn't hurt, right?
Yeah.
So for him, it's not fair, right? Because again, he broke his foot in the preseason, and this was a guy that the Panthers traded in. I don't think that you trade back into the third round to get him if you don't think that he has some kind of value whatsoever. So it wasn't a fair shot. But at the end of the day, like you said, big brother, man, this is a business at the end of the day. I think the Panthers are probably going to end up trading him, man. I don't see a situation. I don't see a situation, man. Like let's say, for instance, let's just play hypothetical right quick. Let's say if he does ball out this training camp, right? He balls out this training camp. He shows that he's back fully healthy from this injury, and he plays a pretty damn good preseason. Man, look, man, you can't
That's
keep a
what
guy
I.
like that, man, on the
That's
roster, and neither should he want to stay.
that's what I was going to ask. Do you think they're going to play him in preseason?
Well,
I
here's
think
the
he is.
thing. He's under a rookie deal, man. He can't go nowhere. Like
No, he can't. No, I don't think I'm
yeah,
not saying that we have to force him out, but I could definitely see him demanding a trade or something like that, man, to try to
yeah,
go
but
somewhere
he
where he
doesn't
can get an
have any trade.
opportunity.
He doesn't have any trade value. Right now he doesn't have because he hasn't played. Have any numbers in the NFL like no
Well,
film.
look,
And
man, Trey Lance doesn't have any numbers in the NFL, and
Trey Lance
he
was a
got trade
number three.
value.
He was a number three pick, man. We're talking about a guy that got drafted in the third round. You can't compare the two because, like I just said, number one, if you're a quarterback and get drafted in the first round, regardless, you're gonna have some people interested because you got drafted in there. So, and to answer my boy Zaire in the comments, man, bruh, Matt Corral wasn't all that in college, man. He was
He
solid.
he really wasn't.
And you cannot compare. Bryce Young is 100 times better than Corral. Like Corral, he was a solid quarterback at Ole Miss.
He
He
ran the
kind of
RPO.
yeah, he kind of reminds me of Baker Mayfield, man, a little bit. He's feisty. He's a hell of a competitor. Which I can respect. But again, he's not that number one guy. Is what I'm saying. He's not a Trey Lance. He's not he's not a Bryce Young. So meaning he can be upset. That's fine. Like Fitterer, because they asked him about that in the interview last week too. Because Fitterer, he know about the tweet, and they asked him, say, Scott, how do you feel about that? He said, well, Matt has the right to his, opinion, and he understands it. But he said that Corral hasn't came to him personally and said anything about wanting to be traded or getting up out of there. That's what Fitterer said. So I mean, until he otherwise, like he's gonna be the guy. He gonna come into camp. He gonna prove himself, put something on film. And again, if there's an opportunity where he got to trade some trade value, that may come up. But right now, he doesn't have any. Man, nobody. There was 14 quarterbacks taken in this year's draft. 14. You can go look it up. It was 14 total quarterbacks. Right.
You know,
Go ahead,
if I was
CLT.
if I was Matt Corral, you know what I would do? I would be eyeing playing in preseason, right? And I would be having my eye on Tampa. And this is why. Baker Mayfield is a starting quarterback over there. Matt Corral, you have seen what he put up in Carolina. You see him in training camp. You've seen him in practice. You can feel confident that you can go to Tampa and beat him out for a starting job.
Yeah, they got Kyle Trask out there too.
You
But I mean,
can.
I 100% like. I just think it like this, man. Like again, we traded back into the third to get Matt Corral. Like it wasn't that he just fell to us. Like we didn't even have a third round pick last year. So the fact that we traded up to get him, man, like gave away assets to get this guy. I just don't, man. Like to me, like I'm not
What
saying that Matt Corral is going to be the starter. Like he's going to be the starter, but man, you brought in Andy Dalton to be a good backup veteran and mentor. To the young quarterback, whoever it was that was going to be drafted, that was the right decision to do. But what I'm saying is, with Matt Corral, it's a situation, man. Like if I'm Matt Corral, I'm saying to myself that, yeah, I could stay here. I could really, try to fight it out, show what I can do. Show that this time that I've been out, man, I've been able to rehab myself, get my game together, focus a little bit more, and do what I got to do. But my thing about it is, man, like you said, man, 2 and 3 quarterbacks don't really get no play during the regular season, man. It don't,
Yeah.
unless his injury happens to
Right.
a guy. So the only tape that he's going to be able to have is what he puts up in the preseason. Really, that's all that he's going to have. So go ahead, CLT.
I just want to make a point, man. Just now that I'm thinking about it, bro. During draft trades, bro, those shits have not worked out for Scotty Fielder, bro.
Now they haven't.
We
They
traded
really
back,
haven't.
we traded back
Yeah,
in
you're
for
right. They haven't, bro.
we traded back in for Matt Corral. We traded back and got Terrence Marshall Jr. We traded back in this year to see how that kid from
Yeah,
Oregon's gonna
DJ
do.
Johnson.
Yeah, so we praise him for trading, man, but his trade ain't kind of been making a lot of sense.
Not during the draft. You're right.
So,
They
so fella, let's keep in mind again. I hate to keep saying, but it got to be a point brought up. So yes, we
Matt roll.
can talk about that. It didn't work out in the past, but man, hey, we got to get it out of our mind that what has happened the last 3 years. We all know what happened, right? We don't have to talk about it. We don't have it's done, right? This is a new era, guys. When I say new era, that means new, not old. So
But big
meaning,
bro, we still living in it because these players are still on our roster.
That's what I'm saying.
but again,
That's what I'm saying.
we still don't know what TMJ is yet. We don't know what hell Matt Corral is. And again, and the go off was I said he didn't drop to the third round just because of alcohol. He never was a first round talent. Like he wasn't gonna get drafted in the first round without the alcohol.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna be no first round quarterback.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna be a first round pick. He was not. So Matt Corral, where we got him at? Because again, at the time, we thought we was trying to get a quarterback, which we needed at the time coming into last year, the season under Matt Rule, because we had Sam Darnold on the roster at the time and PJ Walker, right? So we drafted up to get Matt Corral. I wasn't mad at that, right? I wasn't mad because again, I thought that's where he would get drafted, third or fourth round. We didn't give up too much to do that. So unfortunately, he got injured, and we know what happened last season. So that's what put us in the situation that we in. Again, it was a combination name, but the goal was for Matt Corral to come in here and really compete for a starter job over Sam Darnold. And this is before we even traded for Baker Mayfield. So that was the plan. But unfortunately, it didn't happen like that, man. So we got to move on past like, okay, yeah, it didn't work out, but we can't say that when it comes to the Corral, he got hurt, and again, he's still on the roster, so he has a chance to still be a good, solid backup. He might be a great backup quarterback, which I think he can. I believe he is. Again, Andy Dalton on a 1-year deal. He's old. He's an older quarterback. Again, come next year, we may not want to pay Andy Dalton $10 million to be a backup, we want to play. We might want to play Corral. Corral because again he under his rookie deal. We got a lot vested in Bryce. Pay Corral, be a solid backup for the next 2-3 years, and then if he want to leave and go test the option, but he needs to. That's where he's gonna be at most likely.
I mean, I'm saying like, man, you make Andy Dalton is on a 3-year deal, man. He's not on a 1-year deal.
I thought we signed him on a 1 year. Okay.
Nah, he signed a 3-year deal, so he here for the foreseeable future, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, Andy Dalton probably go retire here in Carolina, man. Like to keep it completely, honest. But what I'm saying, man, is
he's on a 2-year, $11 million contract with only $8 million guaranteed. So
yeah, I thought it was 2 years.
Yeah, it ain't 3. Yeah,
how old is he?
Andy Dalton is 35.
Yeah,
I don't think he got 3 years left in the damn league.
So he got 2 years, $8 million. So once we pay him that $8 million, hell, we can let him go. Shit, we not got. I didn't even know. I thought it was 1 year for 10. So it's 2 years for 8. Shit, that's basically $8 million is really what we owe him because that's the guaranteed money. Once we pay that, hell, we can do whatever we want. Let him go. So he won't be here for a while. He may make it a second season possibly. But if Corral steps up and be the guy, the backup, you're going to go ahead and let him be the guy, the number 2.
Yeah, man. But with Matt Corral, I'm just saying, man. Like if I'm him, I just don't know, man. If I'm sitting here, man, like really, feeling good about what's going on right now. Because again, man, I honestly felt like we would have been able to see what he had last year if it wasn't for the injury. And honestly, man, I'm not saying that Corral could have. I don't know what the fuck he could have done. I don't know what he could have done, man. If we're given, the season, some games to grow, some games to learn on, throwing him in there because you got to remember he couldn't have been no worse than what the fuck we had on the roster last year. He couldn't have been worse than Baker Mayfield. And, Sam Darnold came in and played well, later on in the season. He played solid, but I still think that Sam Darnold is extremely limited. Like he to me, if you ask me, Sam Darnold is a backup quarterback. He's the idea of what you want in a true ideal backup quarterback role. That's what Sam Darnold is to me, is a solid backup quarterback. But I just feel bad for Corral, man, because again, the injury that he suffered, man, like it was a Liz Frank, man. It wasn't that's a serious foot injury, to have, man. For any player, you guys know, Liz Frank injury pretty much ended Greg Olsen's career. He could never, come back from that shit, man. So I'm hoping, man, that he can, he's still young. I'm hoping that he can come back, man, and even, get a chance to even fight for the job, man, and stay healthy. So we'll see. That it's yet to be seen, man. But he coming off of a really serious injury.
Listen, that's the best case scenario for Corral. Thompson, per NFL.com, Andy Dalton is on a 2-year deal, $11 million contract with $8 million guaranteed. It's a 2-year deal, but that's the best case scenario for Corral. I mean, again, the injury, it's unfortunate, man. Any injury is unfortunate to any player. You hate that it happened because he really didn't get a chance to show, what he got. Again, he played a real pet talk. Yeah, he played in. He said Corral was sucking in preseason against third strings before injury. He had 3 games to show what he got and didn't get hurt till last preseason. Okay. In the Real Panther Talk with A&D, you're right about that. So again, those that's hollering for Corral, hey man, he is what he is. At this point, we got our guy. He's not going to be, he's not going to be the starter. At best, his best case scenario is fighting for the number 2 job, which most likely with the signing of Andy Dalton, he's not even going to have that. Not for the foreseeable future, not this year, because we got a lot invested in Andy. So, and plus he's the veteran at the group. So the best case scenario is for Corral to learn this year. Sit behind Andy, learn about the NFL, learn how to be a top quarterback, because he can learn a lot, man. That's what I would do if I was in the situation. I wouldn't have my father tweeting I would just take for what it is, man, and hopefully you never know what's going to happen, man. Some of the best quarterbacks have been backups and went on. Garoppolo, guys, was a backup quarterback when he first started his career. You know
Yeah, he
what I'm
made a
saying?
name. Garoppolo made a name for himself that year that Tom Brady got hurt.
Right, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. You never know what can happen with your starter. So meaning, if you come in and I
You
pray,
remember Matt? You remember they had Matt Castle?
yeah, same with Matt, bro, Matt Castle, Matt Flynn. You remember Flynn that
Yeah,
went up? He got that deal with Green Bay.
yeah.
You remember after that year he
He was
got.
trash though, man.
But I mean, But what I'm saying, he did enough when Brady was out to go get a deal that next year, a solid deal and be a starter. He had a chance to be a starter. So meaning, you know, Corral, he gonna have that again. It's only his second year. So he got a while, man. If he sit in this role and develop into a great quarterback, come 4 years from now, I'm gonna say no, 3 years from now, it might even 2 years, man. He put something on tape. Come in and play some games and put something on tape. Shit, Morgan Captain Mo, you're right. Case Keenum too. We forgot about him. He another one. So it's not bad to be a backup quarterback, guys. Is what I'm saying. It's not.
Yeah, this season, man, we getting to see like a lot of quarterbacks, man, get their opportunities this year, man. Look, Jordan Love out there in Green Bay is a
Yep.
prime example.
And they
You
just
know,
gave him
he's
a deal.
Yeah, they
Signed him.
just signed him to a 2-year extension, man. So he got to kind of live up to what's going on, man. And it's also a make or break year for a lot of these quarterbacks as well. I think it's a make or break year for Dak Prescott. I think it's a make or break year for my man out there in Minnesota. I think it's a make or break year for whoever the starting quarterback is for the San Francisco 49ers. I
Kirk
think it's a
Cousins,
it's, it's a make or break
Derek
year
Carr,
for a lot of guys. Um, but
Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr for sure.
Yeah, well, Derek Carr. I mean, he says he just signed with the Saints, man. Like, they're not gonna give up on him, man. Too quick,
Yeah,
man.
I think so because that coach is unproven. The coach brought him in, hoping to save his job. It was his first year under as head coach last year. This year, you get a new quarterback. You see if you can win some games. We're hoping that they don't win some games because we want to win the division. And Derek Carr, you were thrown out of Oakland with the utmost weapons. I think this has to be a make or break year for Derek Carr.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, man. The thing about what I'll say about that, man, like with Derek Carr out there in Oakland, man, is that the Oakland is a very bad ran for organization, just like the Indianapolis Colts. You know, I personally, man, I wouldn't have gave up on Derek Carr as soon as they did because Derek Carr is still better than a lot of quarterbacks, man, that's in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't have given up on him so quick, man. Honestly, I think Derek Carr, man, is going to play well with the Saints. I'm not saying that he's going to play well enough where he's going to be able to beat Carolina, but I think that he's going to be solid there. But we'll see how it goes.
I mean,
But
my takes
yeah,
on them. Go ahead.
now you go ahead and give us your take before we move on.
But yeah, as far as Derek Carr goes, I mean, this necessarily got to be a make or break year for him because they signed him to a 4 year, 150
Yeah,
million
it's the
dollar deal.
4-year deal.
He got
Yeah.
100 million in guarantees. So after 1 year, they're not gonna give him. They're not gonna give up on him just because they got too much money invested in him. 100 million, that's a lot of money in guarantees. So I think what will happen this year is that okay, let's just say he just go out and stink it up, which I don't think he will. They'll give him another shot. And Carr, man, he's 32. For a quarterback wise, he's still young per se. And man, they'll give him, like I said, he'll have at least 2 years there, man, to kind of prove what he is and what he ain't. Again, I think Carr at best, in my opinion, he's just a slightly above average quarterback.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. A
he got
starter though.
right. He definitely a starter. Yeah, he definitely a starter. He gonna have some weapons down there in New Orleans with Michael Thomas coming back. What was the rookie last year?
Chris
Olave.
Olave.
So meaning I think he has a chance to do really well. I think he gonna do better than what he was in Oakland, man. In my
I
opinion,
do too.
so,
But I'm just not a fan of the coach, man. Like, Dennis Allen to me is not a good coach. He wasn't a good coach when he was in Oakland, and to me, he's still not a good coach. Like I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Roster wise is why I'm not saying the Saints is not going to compete with us. It's because of the coaching, man. Dennis Allen hasn't proven anything in the NFL since he's been in the NFL. I'm just not a firm believer in him. That's why I think the Saints are not going to be shit, is because of who they have as their head coach. It has nothing to do with their roster. Because on roster, I mean, they got talent, so but we in here in the mix, midday fucking madness, man. Approaching the hour and a half market here. Big bro in the building, man. CNT in the building. Midday fucking madness, man. Cinco de Mayo, man. May 5th. Shout out to everybody. Get your drink on. Tacos and tequilas today, man. Tacos, tequilas, and titties all day long on Cinco de Mayo, man. Y'all already know what time it is. Hey, we about to get into the next topic. Bleacher Report just dropped their 2023 NFL Draft, every team's best value selection. So every team where they got their best value at their pick. And the Carolina Panthers, they voted Jamie Robinson, number 145 overall. And here's what they had at him. Now, remind you, the rank that they had him at, again, was 87. They had him going 87, and we picked him at 145. So this is what they have to say. Bryce Young's success or lack thereof is going to define the 2023 draft for the Carolina Panthers. But when you traded away number 961 picks, along with a 2024 first rounder, a 2025 second rounder, and veteran wide receiver DJ Moore to move up to number 1 to select Young, it became imperative for them to find some high-value picks later in the draft. Grabbing Jamie Robinson in the 5th round certainly qualifies. The 5'11", 191-pound defensive back has size and versatility to play as a deep or box safety, and he can make some appearances in the slot if he needs to. Lance Zerlin of NFL Media noted that Robinson had top 100 tape, but said his workout result measurables caused him to fall in the draft. That seems like a classic example of other front offices overthinking things. Robinson is a feisty player who shows no fear in filling the alley and sticking his nose in the run game. He isn't bad in coverage either. He showed with 5 interceptions and 8 pass breakups during his 2 years at Florida State. Robinson's experience should have helped him find a role early in Carolina. Few 5th-round picks will have as good of a shot at playing many snaps for the Panthers this season than Robinson. So what do you guys think and said that he had top 100 tape, and is he our biggest steal of the draft per Bleacher?
Bro, I think he's a great pick. I just don't see where he gets playing time. Somebody has to be an odd man out for him to get playing time. Or if you're saying in the slot, we don't then need to go get a free agent slot corner. I don't see where he fits. Like, somebody has to go. Jeremy Chin is not an option to move for him. So who the fuck moves?
I was just gonna say, man, that it's as far as the biggest steal, possibly depends on how he turns out. I really don't know much about this dude. You said he was at South Carolina, right?
Florida State.
I'm just pulling up some numbers on him real quick.
Yeah. So he had 5 interceptions over the last 2 years, 8 pass breakups, man, and is a hard-hitting safety. So one thing he plays with, man, is reckless abandonment, man. Like he's a dog when it comes to making tackles. He might take B. Amos. Shout out to B. Amos in the building, man. He said he might take Wood's spot. So, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say this. So I'm reading this draft profile.
Is Von Bell playing free safety or is he playing strong safety? Because if he's a hard-hitting tackle, he needs to be strong. And that means
Von Bell had 4 picks last season, man. I would think that he's a free.
Okay,
so
that would make sense.
The 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He was named the Georgia Defensive Player of the Year as a senior. Let's see. Started. He made the all-freshman team.
South Carolina for 2 years.
Yep, he made the all-freshman team in 2019. Let's see. Okay, he was at the game. Yeah, he was at the Gamecocks first. He started all 10 games in 2020. Then He transferred to Florida State the following year after 2020. So he led the Seminoles with 84 tackles and 4 interceptions, while breaking up 3 other passes, forcing 2 fumbles in 12 games, 11 starts. Let's see, 7. He did garner first team all ACC accolades. He also did that in 2022. He led the defense with 99 tackles. So he led the defense last year for Florida State in tackles.
Damn, a safety?
Yeah, 99, man. Tackles for loss, intercepting 1 pass, and that's with 13 starts. So he was projected. He had a 4th round grade.
We got him in the 5th.
It says short arm defensive back with good toughness, a compact frame, and the versatility for consideration at nickelback or safety. He thrives when playing downhill, where anticipation and burst provide quick closure to make plays on the throw. He has twitchy feet to match up from slide, but tends to stay behind. If he falls behind in the route, he's a run supporter with a nose for the ball and average stopping power. Robinson lacks ideal measurable and was unimpressive in the NFL scouting combine, athletic testing, but he's feisty defender whose success could be determined on how the team decides to use him. So
Right.
his strengths, he plays with urgency at the snap, attacks the seams, and run crevices as a run defender near the line. He can make cuts to match the runners bouncing wide, stalks with route anticipatory movement. Oh, anticipatory movement. Okay. Breaks on the throw. Let's see. Drives through his targets to disrupt the catch. Rushes in for attacks. Versatility. His weaknesses is only a few of them. Takes sloppy angles. Will overstep positioning and lose leverage. Limbs falls below the desired mark. Receivers can challenge him above the rim and fails to make up ground in a foot race. So overall, man, just from reading this, his draft profile, and that was on NFL.com, to quote them, for him to lead his team in tackles, man, at Florida State. So this guy, man, is not he's not the one of them corners that's scared to tackle or scared of contact, man. That's huge, playing at cornerback or safety, however we decide to use him. I don't know what the Panthers gonna do with him, but that's huge, man. Him being able to support the run, and also he's solid in pass coverage. He's not the best in pass, but he's solid. I think, man, he could, now reading his potential and read up on him, this could be a steal for us, man. Again, he had a 4th round grade, and his NFL comparison, for those that remember, is Demarius Randall. Is his NFL comparison.
Yeah, I'm looking at some highlights, man. He played with that little man syndrome.
Yeah, he a hard hitting motherfucker, man.
Yeah, because he's only 5'10", man. 5'10", 198. He runs a 4.5.
Yeah.
So he's solid, man. Again, that's back to my point earlier, man. I like what we have in that room. Can we do more in the cornerback room? Yes, we can. We can do more, but I like with what we got. Of course, these young guys gonna take a minute to develop, but man, overall, right now, I would be okay with what we go out there with, man. If these guys made the team,
So what are you grading that cornerback room right now?
At best, man, I'm gonna say right now, if with this guy, if Rajon Wright makes the team, man, I would put it at least at a C, man. Average. I mean, it's not elite yet, but it's average. I would say compared to teams around the league, it's average at best. Which is
CLT, where do you rank this quarterback room, man? What do you give this cornerback room?
Like 1 through 32?
No, like just A, B, C, D, E, F.
A B.
You said a D as in dog?
No, I'm gonna give us a B.
A B as in boy?
Yeah, I have to.
My God.
I'm confident. I'm confident in JC, man.
I am too.
And I'm confident that Dante can guard at number 2. I just feel like we just need to stay healthy, and I feel like I'm optimistic that we can stay healthy this year.
Me too.
So I'm hoping I gotta give us a B. at the lightest end of C. I don't know how you go past the C.
Yeah, I can't go past the C, man. I can't.
This is what I'll say. When healthy, this room is definitely like a C plus. When healthy, I can't give it a B. Now, 2 seasons ago, I could have gave it a B, man. When we had Gilmore and all of those guys, I would have gave it like a B or A, even an A back then, man. That's when really no team. I think we had the number 1 passing defense that year. But I gotta give it, man, like a C plus at max, simply because, man, like I'm optimistic that these guys can stay healthy. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I'm very optimistic that they can stay healthy. But it's a difference, man, when we're talking about a player who hasn't shown any injury history and to players who have shown that they've been hurt. J.C. Horn literally has been hurt, man, every year since he's been in the NFL. We all know what kind of player that he can be if he stays healthy. We know that he can be an elite, arguably. To me, I think J.C. Horn got the potential to be the best corner in the NFL when he stays healthy. He can be the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, hell, at one point, he was the best. Like early in the season last year. So, in my eyes, it ain't even about that, man. I'm just not sold that they can do it. Like, I'm optimistic that they can. I'm very optimistic that they can. But, man, I have to see it before I can sit up here and say that it's going to happen. Like, like I got to see that they can play. Like, they got to at least, bro, at minimum. They got to, at minimum, give me 17 out of these 18 games, bro. Like, at minimum. Like, they can only afford to miss one. Because, again, we just, like, hey, even with our schedule, and we don't have the week-by-week schedule, but we know who our opponents that we're playing. Like, and we're going to talk about that, man. Like, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up right now. The Panthers 2023 opponents. So looking at our opponents, man, this year, obviously we know those in our division. When we play teams against Jacksonville, that's going to be a tough game. We got the Dolphins. That's going to be a tough game. We got the Lions. That's not going to be a pushover. We did smack them last year. It's not going to be a pushover game. We got Dallas here in Carolina. We got the Vikings, which that might be a little bit of a tough game. And the crazy part about it is, man, that's how they knew what the Panthers were doing. We match up against the Texans, man. We go up against C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. And we also go up against the Colts, man, and Anthony Richardson. So the top 3 rookie quarterbacks are going to be battling each other this year here in Carolina. Like, we play C.J. Stroud and the Texans here in Carolina, man. That might be a hell of a game to go see.
Yeah.
We play C.J. Stroud here in Carolina. We also play Anthony Richardson, the Colts. Anthony Richardson, man, here in Carolina. Then you're looking at, we got games against the Seattle Seahawks, the Chicago Bears, DJ Moore revenge game. Will this be DJ Moore revenge game, man? So we play DJ Moore again this year.
Break it up.
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, now I can, man. It was breaking up. Hey, I'm with
DJ Moore revenge game.
Go ahead. Yeah. Hey, it's gonna be a great season. Also, those guys, the games that you just named out, I'm looking forward to every single one of them, man. I'm looking forward to every single one. Look, obviously, DJ. Everybody knows our history with DJ. Obviously, we know Bryce and the CJ thing. They like best friends. They both admitted and said that they've been knowing each other since they were small. So I'm looking forward to them competing together, against each other, man. Look, man, and even Anthony Richardson, man. Look, this is the future of the NFL, guys. Those guys we just named at quarterback. These are the stars of tomorrow. Richardson, Bryce, CJ, Will Anderson. So, man, I'm looking for. I can't, man. I've never been this excited. I've said this before. I've never been this excited about going into a season. Until I think the last time I was this excited is when we had our inaugural season. Back in '94. When we first got the team. Like, I haven't had this been. I've been excited about passing, but there's a lot of excitement that I have, and there's a lot of excitement that Panthers Nations have out there, man. I'm telling you, Bank of America Stadium, which those that know they get the name changed next year, but it will be the bank this year.
Yeah, man. What about? I haven't seen that report, man, but people have been talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
seen. They said that it was somebody had made a tweet but deleted it or something like that.
no. What it is the naming rights deal. Every stadium has a naming rights deal. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes they're 15, 20 years. So Bank of America had a naming rights deal with the stadium and the Panthers for 20 years, and it expires in 2024. So meaning, just like prior, it was Ericsson Stadium. They had a naming rights deal, and then it expired, and it went to Bank of America. So next year, whoever's the new sponsor, they'll make a deal. They're probably working on it now. It'll be another name next year because it's just the deal just up, and they probably won't renew it because usually it's just 20 years, and they'll take just like with Staples Arena changed to crypto. You know, they naming rights deal went up, expired. So it happens. It happens all the time in pro sports.
Yeah. I know it happened, but I tried to look at try to find some articles about it, man. I didn't find anything about it.
Yeah, because like I said, it's the contract is still in place. It doesn't expire until 2024. So it
Yeah.
will be the bank this year. But I'm excited, man. I'm telling y'all now, those that's here in Charlotte, me, Wade, CL2, everyone want to come aboard, man. We're gonna catch some games this year. It's gonna be fun, man. And I can't wait. I can't wait to have my Bryce jersey go. Definitely when the Cowboys come to town, that's probably one I'm gonna try to hit. Definitely.
Yeah, I want to try to do a live stream, man, from the tailgate.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we definitely gonna be out there because those that didn't know half of us. So in our family, and me and Wade's family, like how it goes is when it comes to NFL. So half of our family is like Cowboys fans, and the other half is Panthers fans. Like that's the only two teams
That's
that
it.
that we support in our family. I'm talking about our entire family. Like it's like that. So that Cowboys game gonna be a big one for us, man. And we definitely gonna be tailgating down there, man. During that game, they haven't released the schedule yet, but I can't wait to find out what Sunday that's gonna be on and when that's gonna be.
8704 said Waves do a meet and greet, man. We might put something together, man. Once I crack that 1,000 subscribers, bro. Once I crack that 1,000 subscribers, we'll go ahead and put something together. I already got it in mind, guys. Once we hit 1,000, I'm going to be doing a merch giveaway, man. Once we hit 1,000, I already got my shirts made up, y'all. I'm going to be opening up the shop soon. Listen, guys, when I tell y'all, man, that your boy Waves is about to really be taking off with this YouTube shit, man, we about to get there. But once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a giveaway, man, of some merch. Send us up to it. That's why I'm getting the Discord ready to go. Remember, the Discord will be available on 5/18, May 18th, man. The Life is Just a Wave podcast Discord will be available on then, man. And I'm also thinking about this upcoming season, probably doing some live watch parties, a lot of different stuff like that, man. So a lot of exciting stuff, man. That's go be lit, man. And then for one of these games this year, I'm gonna talk to CLT Big Bro, man, to see if we can go ahead and set up, man. Maybe set up like us a little booth or a little tent where we can do a live stream, man, from the Panthers game. Live stream.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely with it, man. I'm looking forward to it, man, and meet some of you guys in person. Guys and ladies. Because it's gonna be fun, man. Look, again, it's gonna be a fun season, and I can't wait, man. We getting closer and closer each day go by.
Yes, sir.
We got the rookie, rookie mini camps coming up here now next week, I believe. So we got that, man. Then we got OTAs, man. For the team, get everybody back together, man. Then we, got training camp. So, man, it's getting close, man. It's getting close to what this thing, everything that we've done this offseason is coming into play, man, here soon. And we'll have what that final, roster and team's gonna look like, what we putting out there on the field, man. I just can't wait. I'm happy, man.
Hey, we about to go ahead and close it out, Big Bro. Give me 2 bold predictions for this next phase of the offseason. 2 bold predictions. It can be anything around the team. 2 bold predictions about position battles, anything for this next phase of the offseason.
Well, my first one, man, I know you don't agree with this one. My first bold prediction, Ray John Wright, undrafted free agent.
Tell him what school. You know what school he out of?
Yeah, Oregon State.
Oregon State. Okay.
Yep, Oregon State is what he. And anybody want to go watch film on him, go check him out. I promise you. And also, he was on Last Chance U, man. So go watch him there. But he's a dog. So that's my first bold prediction. He will make the team. Again, he may be at first come in and be a practice player. But he's eventually going to develop, man, into a
I've been hearing his name a lot, man. You might be on to something.
Yeah, Ray John Wright, bro, is
I need to go look at some tape on him.
Go, please do look at some tape. But that's my bold prediction. I know most undrafted free agents, but man, the dude was a beast on the Last Chance U. Then he got that scholarship to Oregon State, played there for 2 years, man. And I'm telling you,
was a dog.
It was a dog. Now I'm really quick. I just want to give you some numbers from this past year. So he all Pac-12 first team, Field Steel all Pac-12 first team, Associated Press all Pac-12 second team. He played in 12 games, making 11 starts, recorded 38 tackles with half a tackle for a loss, 1 fumble recovery, 2 interceptions, and 9 pass breakups. Let's see, finished 6 tackles. He had a season high tackles with USC. He had 6. But man, this dude is the real deal. I promise you. So that's my first bold prediction. Second bold prediction is we will go out and before the season starts, we will go pick up another DN. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm leaning towards Clowney, but we will get another DN to come in this room on the 1-year deal. So that's, that might not be really a bold prediction because I think that's going to happen anyway. But that's my prediction, though. I think that oh, no, I'm going to change that. Matter of fact, I'm going to change this. It's not a bold prediction. I'm going to say this really quick. My bold prediction is that TMJ makes the starting lineup as the 1, 2, or 3 receiver. That's my bold. That's a bold prediction right there. TMJ will be a starter this year. That's my bold prediction.
All right, I like that. CLT, man, what's your 2 bold predictions, man, for this next phase of the offseason?
Next phase of the offseason. Yeah. Well, I can't say it's really bold. I would say I think we signed a defensive end like Big Bros was saying the next 2 weeks. I think we'll have Jadeveon Clowney on our roster within the next 2 weeks. Him exactly, because he's been linked to us. So that's a bold prediction there. And what else? I think the kid that we drafted from North Carolina State will fill that starting guard position and will excel.
Zavala.
I think he will start next to Icky, and I think it'll be a great pair.
Yeah, I like those, man. I like those. I'm gonna go ahead and get my 2, man. My bold prediction, man, is that Terrence Marshall Jr. will become the number 1 wide receiver, man, on the depth chart when the season starts. I think that, listen, man, Terrence Marshall Jr., people have to remember, man, go back and watch Terrence Marshall Jr. at LSU and also go back and look at his tape from last year. He made a lot of big plays for Carolina, but I think with a more capable quarterback and he can stay fully healthy, I think that Terrence Marshall Jr. until Mingo can obviously get up to speed, and Mingo can very much well be our number 1 wide receiver. I think TMJ will be our number 1 wide receiver this season, followed by Adam Thielen listed at the 2. DJ Shark will be listed at the 3. Mingo will probably start somewhere at the 4 and rotate between the 3 and the 4. But Terrence Marshall Jr. will be our number 1 wide receiver this season. Okay, That's my first bold prediction. Second bold prediction, man. This is a it's really bold, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there. I'm gonna go ahead and say, man, the Carolina Panthers will sign either Leonard Fournette or Ezekiel Elliott to come up here to be a power running back for Miles Sanders. Going forward, either Leonard Fournette or Zeke will come to Carolina and be the power running back, because that's what we're missing in the backfield right now. We do not have a power short yardage back that can come in there, man, and get those tough yards. I think that we still need to try to add a big body to the backfield. Yes, we have Spencer Brown. Yes, we have Blackshear and Chuba Hubbard, but none of those guys are ready to take on that short yardage position. So I think the Panthers will add some depth and bring in a big body running back somewhere for like a 3 to 4 year deal on a 1 year deal. Leonard Fournette is still out there. He's familiar with the NFC South. So I think the Panthers will add to their running back room and bring a big body in.
Hey, man, I respect it, man. Hey, that is a bold prediction. Zeke or Leonard, man. Yeah. I mean, is it possible? Absolutely. So I think it happening. Maybe I give it about a 10% chance, maybe. So, but again, I think though the reason why I don't think it will happen, because we're paying Miles Sanders, primary back money, and then
This deal is very cap friendly, though.
It is.
Yeah, it's a super cap friendly deal.
Those two guys, they're going to be looking. They may be still looking again. I don't know what they're thinking personally, but
and remember too, I ain't mean to cut you off. Miles Sanders put up the numbers that he put up last year in a 3-back system. He wasn't the primary carrier.
True, absolutely. But those guys, Fournette and Zeke, they're not the type of backs, man. They're
not starters at this point in their career. You know that.
I don't know. But all I'm saying is, it's hard for them to work in the 3-back system, because they need carries to get going and touch the balls to get the ball more to get going, man. So that's the only reason why I don't see them coming here. But unless they say, hey, you're gonna be the primary, maybe you're gonna be the third down back, maybe potentially, and we're gonna maybe use you more. I mean, it might be a possibility, man, but I don't see it happening. But I respect the prediction, though.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all boys go ahead and get y'all final words in.
Hey, another great show. Again, love coming up on here. Panthers Nation, let's get ready, man. Like I always say, next phase, rookie mini camp next week, I believe. Let me just confirm that. I keep saying that, mini camp.
Hey, Real Panther Talk with A&D. Did you hit my Twitter? Let me know, man. If you send me an inbox, man. I want to sit down and chop it up, man. I want to do some collaboration, man. Let's turn you up. No doubt. He ran a 4.35. God damn. Yeah, that's burning, bro. Yeah, that's burning, Morgan Cap. CLT, what's your last words, bro?
I was just gonna say, man, I did some fan ass shit, man. Y'all made me go ahead and DM my boy JC, man. Tell him stay healthy, man. But
oh shit.
Hey, but really quick though, let's see. So Panthers, okay. So we got a rookie mini camp. Let's say May 12th.
I probably gotta hit him up too, bro. Let him know that I'm rooting for him, man.
12 to 15. Okay. Schedule. First round draft. Okay. It says May the 12th through the 15th.
Yeah, that's next week.
Yeah. So it said it could be the 12th through the 15th. Okay. But yeah, so that's that's the schedule, man, that we're looking forward to for the Panthers news. So we're gonna see what comes out there. Ready to see them guys how they gonna come out and stuff, man. But yeah, hey, stay strong, fellas. Hey, anybody having Cinco de Mayo plans, y'all be safe with that out there this weekend if you're celebrating.
Yes, sir, man. My final word, man. Let's appreciate these boys coming up here to the show. Life is Just a Wave podcast, man. I'm your host with the most from the East Coast. Listen, they try to replicate, but they can never duplicate, baby. Big Waves in the building, man. Shout out to everybody. Like I have to grab a pen and write a Twitter. Okay, pay it before you leave. I'm going to go ahead and post it up here for you right quick. Yeah, it's in the comment section, man. Everybody go follow me on Twitter as well. If you haven't done so, follow your boy on Twitter as well, man. Trying to run that Twitter up there. Listen, we also got a TikTok channel, man, which is the name of the channel, at Life is Just a Wave Podcast. Remember, May 18th, the Discord for the channel will be dropping. Also, I am going to be adding a gaming element to the channel, man. So I'm going to be streaming. The streaming is on the way, man. Here in the next month or so, the streaming will be coming to the channel. I'm going to be streaming Madden. I'll be playing games for money. Anybody that want to smoke, man, make sure y'all hit me up on Twitter. We can post up, man. We're going to be playing Madden, 2K, a little bit of everything, man. Y'all might see some heated games between me and Big Bruh. It is going to be live here on this channel. But I'm thankful. I'm grateful for everybody, man. Appreciate the love and support. Listen, if you're feeling generous today, the Cash App is always scrolling across the screen at C-Waves, the number 3Z. Again, that's at C-Waves, the number 3Z. Man, any donation is greatly appreciated, man. I'm just thankful for everybody. Listen, happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. Be safe out here this weekend, man. We will be back on Monday at noon talking about whatever news and stuff that comes out over the weekend. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Life is just a wave, baby. Until we holler at y'all next time, everybody be blessed, be safe.